We're going to jump right into what should be in your bug out bag, but first let's take some basic considerations into account. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell. These first two considerations are tied in importance, so let's take them in alphabetical order. Consideration 1A, your need for shelter. If you're in an urban area, you're at a distinct advantage in that there are many pre-existing structures in which you can shelter. It's a great idea to get out there and scout some locations before an actual disaster occurs. Start making mental notes of some dilapidated buildings, closed businesses, and other structures you think might make for a great shelter. Consideration 1B, your need for clean, drinkable water. In some disaster situations, even water from the tap is not safe to drink. If you have to resort to getting water from puddles and other standing water sources, you'll first need to filter it before drinking it. There's a lot of bacteria, viruses, and other pollutants and contaminants in unfiltered water that can make you seriously ill. Consideration 3, health needs. Be sure to prepare a first aid kit well in advance of any emergency or disaster situation. The items to contain in your first aid kit will consist of general and specialized elements. Some specialized elements might include prescription medications, colostomy bags, devices for monitoring health, etc. General items should include such things as aspirin, antibiotic salve, and ointment for burns. You'll need extra sterile gauze, as you can bet there will be many disaster-related injuries. If you live in an area where there's a nuclear reactor, or, God forbid, there's been a nuclear attack, you may consider putting iodine tablets in your kit. Consideration number 4 is communications. In urban survival situations, communications are vital. For example, part of your group might stay hunkered in the shelter while others go out searching for food and supplies. Make sure you have two-way radios to stay in contact, and make sure these radios are NOAA approved in order to get updates about the disaster. In a disaster situation, most cell services will be down. However, if you are lucky enough to get service, it'll do no good if your phones are dead. Be sure to include chargers and cables for your phone in your kit. If services are down and you have no phone, be sure to include permanent markers in your kit so you can write messages on walls for others to see. Consideration number 5. This relates to your need to be aware of the contaminants and pollutants in the rubble all around you. Even minor disasters, such as earthquakes and hurricanes, can cause a lot of contamination from toxic pollutants. And then you have to worry about the glass and rubble that can cause other injuries to you or your family. The 6th consideration is your need for self-defense. A lot of people will tell you you should have a gun, but is this really your best option? If you're trained to use one, and you know how to use one, and you're willing to use one, then the answer is yes. However, in a disaster situation, bear in mind, firing off a gun will make a lot of noise and will definitely tip off others to your position. For most people, a baseball bat or a good sturdy knife will be your best option for self-defense. Our final consideration, number 7, is your need to be discreet. In a survival situation, the last thing you want to do is bring attention to yourself. If you're walking around with a fancy or trendy backpack containing your survival gear, chances are you'll do just that. Consider using something as mundane as a baby bag to stash all your portable survival needs. The bags are sturdy and large enough to hold a lot of items without sticking out like a sore thumb and making yourself a target. As promised, here are our recommendations for what you should put into your bug out bag for each of the previous considerations and scenarios. Items to put in your bug out bag for consideration 1A, shelter, an 8-inch bolt cutter. It can cut through barbed wire, padlocks, and alarm cables, yet small enough to fit in your bag. The next item is a ripper bar. It doesn't have a gooseneck on it, so you can really shove it deeply into door jambs. These two items will help you gain access to areas that you might not otherwise have access to, which are also areas that a lesser prepared person wouldn't even consider using. Items for your bug out bag for consideration 1B, water. Several bottles of water, not enough to weigh you down, but enough to keep you going. A portable water filter with activated charcoal. A Silcock key, which will allow you to tap the water valve of many commercial buildings. A small hydrant wrench, which will allow you to open fire hydrants. Water from commercial buildings and fire hydrants should be relatively safe to drink, but for extra safety, go ahead and filter or boil it. Items for your bug out bag for consideration number 3, health needs. Prepare a first aid kit containing the following items: extra sterile gauze, antibiotic salve, burn cream, and aspirin. This is the bare minimum. It should also contain specialty items such as prescription drugs, extra contacts and eyeglasses, and items such as colostomy bags, items to monitor blood pressure, glucose levels, etc. If you live near a nuclear reactor, or in the event of a nuclear attack, you may also want to consider packing iodine pills. These can help minimize the effects of radiation poisoning and in many instances. Items for your bug out bag relating to consideration number 4, communications. Two-way radios. As mentioned earlier, these should be NOAA certified so that you can get updates regularly from the government regarding the disaster. If you're lucky enough to still have cell service, you'll be thankful that you packed those chargers and cables for your phone. And if all else fails and there is no cell service, please remember to pack permanent markers in your bag to write messages on walls for others. Items for your bug out bag in relation to consideration number 5, pollutants and contaminants from the rubble around you, include such things as sturdy boots, heavy gloves, earplugs, eye goggles, and a good supply of N95 masks. Items for your bug out bag for consideration number 6, self-defense. A sturdy, reliable knife, a small axe, a baseball bat, and a gun. As mentioned previously, please remember that a gun will make a lot of noise alerting others to your position, and it can be taken away from you and used against you if you're not willing to use it. But if you are proficient in the use of firearms, it can be a very efficient tool. Otherwise, a baseball bat may be your best friend in a confrontational situation, with a knife coming in a close second. Items for your bug out bag for consideration number 7, the need to be discreet. This relates not so much as to what goes in the bag, but perhaps the bag itself, and what you wear, how you conduct yourself, and overall just keeping a low profile as a general practice. Use a baby bag to contain your tactical items, and wear drab clothing, and try to stay out of sight as much as possible. Yes, you need to build a team around you, but the first couple of days, you don't know who's who, what's what, or who wants your stuff. So it's best to lay low and assess the situation early on. When you feel it's safe, start reaching out, building a team, make a community. Contrary to popular belief, the first people to perish in a prolonged disaster situation are the lone wolves. This is why it's essential to build a team, each with a special skill set to bring to the group. That's it for now. Please subscribe, then get out there and make it a great day.